How long will Bitcoin be in a range? That is a question I get asked all of the time. And that is what we are going to be looking at today is what is Bitcoin doing and how long will it continue in this choppy market? But before we continue, I'd like to ask you to smash that subscribe button because every single day I am in the trenches and every single day I am making videos for you guys in order to keep you guys informed. So, that being said, let's get started. Before we answer the question, let's go over first what has Bitcoin been doing in the past? Second, what is Bitcoin doing in the present? And third, what is Bitcoin going to do in the future? So, first, looking at what did Bitcoin do in the past? So, if you're new to Bitcoin or if you were in the market then, back in November, Bitcoin, along with many other cryptocurrencies, took off and they skyrocketed a good percentage. And now Bitcoin kept going up and making choppy market until it broke 100K, which was big momentum, and it just kept going up until it hit $106,000. And now it's in a slight pullback. It had a pullback and then a push to the upside, pull back, push to the upside, pull back, push to the upside, which brings us to the present. In the present, Bitcoin is in a range. What a range means is that it is not really making higher highs or higher lows, but it most definitely isn't making lower lows. So, what I mean by that is even if it makes higher lows like it did here, this high is lower than this high and it's lower than this high. So we were headed into more of a bullish market, but then we stopped here and then made a push to the upside, which meant we were in a which meant we were in a bullish market going up now. Here we were bearish, so now we're bullish and then push to the downside, but it had a low at the same level, this 0.382 level, which is exactly what happens many times when you are in a range. The highs tend to fluctuate, but the lows stay the same. They stay within a certain area, but here we can see they are staying on a certain line. They're basically staying at $92,600. They are saying that is the basis, and once it reaches that, they like to bounce off. You can even see back here was a little bit of a glimpse into the future of that we were going to start holding this level, this golden ratio. So in the present, we are in a range, but this range is headed higher up. So how do you make profits in a range? If you know how low it's going to go, then that's how you buy, which brings us to the future. What's going to happen in the future? So how to make money in a range, like I said, is you know when to buy. You buy at $92,600 because that is when it's going to reach its support right here. Now, when do you sell? That's where it starts to get tricky, only because you don't know how high it is going to go. But you can have stronger holding hands. You can have diamond hands if you would like, because you know it's going to hit this 92,600 zone and then start to push to the upside. And if it doesn't, then that means the range has been broken, and worst comes to worst, you break even. Obviously, that's not worst comes to worst, but you get the point. You know when to buy, you know the low, so now all you really have to figure out is the high. Rather than knowing how low or how high it's going to go, we know how low and how high it's going to go using some basic technical analysis, which is what I'm going to teach you right now. So, some basic technical analysis we can use is one is called the Fibonacci retracement tool, which is this tool right here, and it shows levels of support and resistance in nature that these coins tend to follow. These coins tend to follow a certain pattern, and they all naturally just follow this pattern and like certain rules and like certain levels. So what you do is you do the swing low to the swing high. So you just pull it out, and it's an extension here on TradingView. It's over here on the left side. So you just click it and then pull it out, and then you can see your levels. Now these levels, this 0.786, 0.6 0.18, 0.5, 0.382, 0.236. These are all levels of support and resistance. But now there is one that is more important than others, and that is called the golden ratio, which is marked here in yellow, this 0.382 zone, which historically across all cryptos, not just Bitcoin, but all cryptos, has been a strong level of support and resistance, meaning it's hard to break this level, but once you do break it, you tend to find support like we are seeing here. You tend to go into a range, and if not go into a range, you tend to go have a pullback to this support, and then that's how far you're going to go up. Now, does it mean it can't go past this? No, it does not. It certainly can go past this. It just means this is what it naturally tends to do. Now, another thing I like to do is further draw my support and resistance. And one way I do this is by removing the candles and switching it to the line view. Now, the reason I did this is because it took away the candles and it shows exactly, you can see more precisely what is happening with the chart and where the support and resistance levels are. So then you can take a line tool like this one and you can find your support and resistance. What we can see right here is a level of resistance. It really likes to touch off of these highs before going downwards. So we can see, okay, this is slightly above that 0.236 zone. So in the current area where we are at, let's switch it back to the candlesticks. In this, if we break above the 0.236 zone, we are more than likely going to hit this 100,000 zone and then have a pullback, which is historically what we see. We see it hit $100,000, which is a strong psychological roadblock, and many people sell because it just hit triple digits. So those are two very basic technical analysis tools you can use to help you find out when to buy and when to sell. You can draw out your support and resistance levels, and when drawing those out, you really want to look, if I drew a straight line, where would I have to draw a line for it to get the most amount of touches? And so that's one thing you can look at. And one way I like to look at is more than just touches. Where do I draw it where the peaks would be, where it can touch the most amount of peaks? And then that tends to be your top of the line. And then where can I draw it where it does the most valleys? And that tends to be the bottom of the line, or your support and resistance lines. So what have we seen in today's video? In today's video, we've seen that Bitcoin is in a range. So how you make money is by buying, you know when to buy, $92,600. So the only tricky part is to find out when to sell. Now you can slowly sell what you have as it goes up in profit and then wait for it to come back down to 92,600, buy again, and just repeat this cycle. Or you can get more technical analysis with this and use tools like the Fibonacci retracement tool, and even drawing out some support and resistance lines. Well, all that being said, I will catch you guys tomorrow. Adios.